Welcome back to my channel. My name is Adrianne and today I'm going to be recommending you 10 books to help you get out of a reading slump. So these are all books that I couldn't put down even when I didn't feel like reading. So I have a range of genres here, a little something for everybody, and I think if you're in a reading slump, one of these will absolutely help you get out of it. So the first book I'm going to mention, I don't have a copy of, but it is What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher. This is the shortest book in the list. So not only will that shorter length help you out, but the story is very captivating. So it's fantasy with a touch of horror. We're following a retired soldier who receives a letter from their friend that they are dying. So they go to check on them and they live in this big spooky house in a very atmospheric woodsy area. And it has such a cool tone. And as soon as they arrive, things are weird with the friend that's dying, with the people also in the house, and you'll immediately be sucked in just wanting to know what the heck is going on. This being a shorter book has a lot of benefits because you'll get through it quickly, you'll get that resolution that you're looking for, so it can keep you engaged until then. And then also by the end, you're probably going to want to read more, and luckily it is a series called The Sworn Soldier. We also have book 2 out, which is just as good as book 1, and book 3 releasing this year. So if you're looking for a shorter fantasy fun time where you just have a lot of mystery and want to know what's going on with some hints to fantasy world, definitely recommend picking this one up. Next up, I have Deal Breaker by Harlan Coben. This is also just a general recommendation for Harlan Coben. I don't know if it's just me, but when I have been an avid reader for the past few years, there are a handful of authors that are like famous. They come out with 1 or 2 books every year, but they have hundreds of books out. Think like Danielle Steele, Lee Child, Tom Clancy, where I'm just like, I've seen them so many times that I just feel like I don't want to read it because I don't know, I just feel like they're going to be boring for some reason, which makes no sense because they're so popular. But that is also how I felt about Harlan Coben. I never imagined I would pick up a Harlan Coben book until luckily his shows came out on Netflix and other places, and I watched one of those and realized, oh my gosh, I might actually enjoy Harlan Coben. And boy did I. So this is the Myron Bolitar series. Any book I've read by Harlan Coben is good. He has a series, he has a lot of standalones, but this one in particular I'm recommending because this is the first book in a long series. I think there's 12 books out so far, and every book I've picked up in the series I'm sucked into. So the first book came out in the 90s. There are some dated topics and ways of speaking that don't hold up. However, the storylines are always so intriguing. Each book focuses on a different mystery, and I have such a hard time putting down the books because there's so much going on that I always need to know what's happening next. So this follows a sport agent called Myron Bolitar and his best friend Win, and Myron has a sports agency where he represents athletes, but each book something weird is going on. So his star new football player, first round draft pick, girlfriend goes missing and there's suspicion against him. We have murder, we have financial crimes, we have all sorts of things going on, and we're following the guy investigating it even though he's not with law enforcement. So that kind of blend of a regular person solving crime, but like it's always high stakes and exciting, makes these books unputdownable. And I don't normally read series back to back, even if I'm reading a trilogy. I have a hard time picking up one book after another, but this book I think I've read 8 of within like a 4 to 6 month time period, which is very unlike me. If you've been watching my channel for a bit, you know there's another series coming on this list that I've recently been picking up book after book, but I'll get to that in a few minutes. Next up, along the same vein but a very different style, is Finlay Donovan is Killing It by Elle Cosimano. This sort of gets advertised as a cozy mystery, but it's a little more high stakes than a cozy mystery and a little more hectic. So I've heard some people call it a cozy thriller, which might be more fitting. But we're following Finlay Donovan. She is a single mother of 2 and she is an author. One day she's in a Panera Bread talking to her agent about her next novel, and someone overhears her talking about murder, plotting it out, and thinks she's a hit woman. So they hire her to kill her husband, and then things just spiral from there. Every scene is like just building on the one before. Things get crazy out of control, but in a fun and funny way that, again, will just make you want to see like, what is she going to do next? How is she going to handle these crazy situations? And it's a good time. We also have like some love interests. We have some cool family dynamics, but it's a really fun series. The 5th book in the series just came out. And it's a series where you can just get really attached to the characters and just need to know, where's her life going. And now the one, if you've been watching my channel, you knew was coming, is Dungeon Crawler Carl by Matt Dinniman. I'm having a hard time talking or reading any other book right now. And this has me. So again, I rarely read series back to back, but I'm currently on book 5 in this series, and each book gets longer and longer. The one I'm currently reading is over 700 pages, and it does not feel like it. I have not had such a page turner in quite some time. I feel like I haven't felt like reading, but like this doesn't count. Like this feels more like I'm watching a TV show than it does reading. Highly recommend the audiobook as well. But in this series, aliens have come and taken over the Earth to run their intergalactic game show called the Dungeon Crawl. And we are following Carl and his cat, Princess Donut, as they navigate the dungeon, fight monsters, and climb the leaderboard in this like sick, sadistic game. But it is Hunger Games meets Ready Player One with a lot of depth and a planned 10-book series. So a lot of room to really take this story in a lot of directions. But something I loved about book 1 is that you can really see that the story is going to open up. We're on the first floor of the dungeon where there's like 18 floors, I think. And you hear whispers of the 3rd floor or something you can't access until the 9th floor. And there's just so much intrigue about what's to come that I just can't stop picking books up. Besides that, I really enjoy my time spent with Carl and Princess Donut and the AI and learning the game mechanics. It is a literary RPG book, and I've heard it's the best one out there. It's the only one I've read, and I am really enjoying it, and I can't stop reading it, and I can't stop talking about it. I actually interviewed someone the other day at work, like to hire them for a position, and they mentioned that they have been enjoying their e-reader and that they enjoy D&D. And like, I had to ask, have you read Dungeon Crawler Carl? My boss was on the call. That's not a valid question for hiring someone, but I had to ask. I can't stop talking about this book, this series. I love it. Please read it. Next up, I have Wrong Place, Wrong Time by Gillian McAllister. This one is really fun because it is sci-fi and thriller. So we have a time travel element where at the beginning of the book, something bad happens to our main character's adult son. And it seems to me that he was involved in some things that his mother did not know about. We are following his mother as time goes in reverse. We keep going back a day or 2 days and traveling back through time while she tries to figure out what her son was into, what happened that things went down the way that they did in present tense. And we just keep going back through time as she figures that out. And the way that this is structured, it could have been a normal timeline thriller story and still been interesting what was happening. But the fact that we have this added element of going backwards through time and her trying to figure out what's happening and also try to understand the mechanics of it, talk to people about time travel, like that second layer behind a very intriguing thriller plotline just made it all the better, just made it so hard to put down. And there's just so much going on in here that you need to know. You have to keep turning the pages. So this is definitely a slump breaker. Next, I have The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandana. Now this one, not a thriller at all, not a sci-fi, heart-pounding book, but it is a cozy mystery that has a lot of intrigue in it. So we're following Mika Moon. She is a witch, but witches aren't like publicly known, and she has a YouTube channel where she pretends to be a witch, but she's like actually being a witch on it. And this family sees her YouTube videos, can tell that she's a witch, and they have a couple of witchy children in their care. So they hire her to come help take care of the witches and help train them to be witches. With that, we have a lot of found family. We have a lot of dynamics that we're learning about the witch community. But what makes this a slump breaker is that there are also some intriguing things going on. So we have some mysterious characters at the house with the children that we just want to learn more about and their story and about the magic. And there are some things with the way that the Witch Society works that will just keep you intrigued and wanting to know what's going to happen. Is everything going to be okay? It's a cozy mystery, so it's also like sweet and cute, and there's a romance, but it's one that like it's hard to put down because you just want to see like how's this gonna go for them. And then if you're looking for a shorter read, I've got The Echo Wife by Sarah Gailey. Now this book is a little darker. It's a little sci-fi thriller once again, but this one is really cool on the science front. So we have a clone situation going here. So our main character has divorced from her husband because her husband was cheating on her with a clone of her. He leaves her for her. But at the beginning of the novel, that clone has killed her husband and called our main character for help. So that's just so intriguing. Like, how can you not pick this book up just to see what the heck happens? It's just fun. It's pretty dark, so it's not like fun, but it's fun as in it's intriguing because you'll just need to know what's going on. You know what else I've realized is interesting about this stack? Not every book here I've given 5 stars or I thought it was like the best book ever. I really picked them based off of their readability and how much I was flying through them. Even if they ended up being a 4-star read, I think back on them fondly about how fast I was reading them and how much I was like into the story when I was reading it. So next up I have The Reappearance of Rachel Price by Holly Jackson. This is the only Holly Jackson book that I've read. I didn't think I was actually ever interested in Holly Jackson, but through a series of circumstances, I ended up reading it. And it is kind of like a thick thriller. It's actually young adult, which I did not realize when I picked it up. But this book follows an 18-year-old girl whose mother went missing when she was just a toddler. At the beginning of the book, we are following her along with a documentary crew as they make a documentary about how her mother, Rachel Price, went missing. As the title suggests, then Rachel Price shows up. We're dealing with our main character like sorting through the feelings of a shock of here's my mother that my whole life I've wondered what happened to her and now she's back and who is she and what is she doing here? Where has she been? And us trying to figure out like what really happened to Rachel Price. Is the story that she's saying happened actually what happened? And digging into quite a bit of a mystery. And of course with a mystery, that helps you not be able to put a book down, but there are a lot of reveals along the way and shifts in how we're feeling of what we think happened that really kept me on my toes, really kept me picking this book up because I was just like, what the heck is happening? And I just remember many times like feeling certain things and then I'd get a reveal and like my whole perspective changed. So this book is really fun and it's a really good book to keep you turning the pages. Next up, another book that's advertised as a cozy mystery, but it's actually pure chaos, hectic time. This is Dial A for Aunties by Jessie Q. Sutanto. This book, I remember I flew through so quickly. I read it in less than 24 hours, which I don't do that very often, especially not without like consciously making the decision to read a book quickly. This one I just couldn't put down. So our main character in this one is single. Her aunties are like meddling in her life and want her to find a partner, and her mom sets her up on a blind date, but then that blind date goes awry. The guy's kind of a creep and ends up dead by the end of the date. And this follows our main character and the aunties like hovering up this death, trying to find a way to get rid of the body and accidentally bring the body to a wedding because they have a wedding business where they do like the photography and the cake and the flowers, and the body comes with them and chaos ensues and we're trying to like clear up this issue. Everyone's always in a panic, but then we also have like a romance going. It was so much fun. I think the series really goes downhill after this book, but this book in particular I remember fondly and it's worth a read. And then finally, I have a book that I think it's recommended often, but I have to say it anyways. The One by John Mars. So if you've seen this recommended so many times and you still haven't picked it up, you should really give it a try. It is a sci-fi thriller where we have this technology in the future where you can find your soulmate through a blood test. And we're following so many different perspectives as people get this blood test done, and we have perspectives from all different points of view in the situation. So it could be someone who is single looking for the love of their life. It could be someone who's married and trying to confirm, is my spouse my soulmate? And if they aren't, what will I do about it? We have people who find out that their soulmate is not who they expect it to be. We follow a serial killer who's looking for his soulmate. And what the heck will a serial killer do when they meet their soulmate? So we have so many things going on, so many twists, turns, reveals, exciting plot points, and then also just discussing this technology and if it should exist and who should have access to it. It's just so much fun. A compelling dark read that gets you thinking, absolutely. And you will be so hooked, not so much like to the characters, but to the scenario. You're gonna be like, what would I do if I were in that situation? What would I do if my husband, I then found out wasn't my soulmate, and now I can see like who my soulmate is? Do I go talk to them? Do I go meet them? It's just so much fun. I love science fiction thrillers, if you can't tell, and this is a really good one. All right, so those are all my recommendations. I really think if you are in any sort of slump, if you don't feel like reading, one of these books will absolutely turn that around for you. It'll make reading feel like you're just watching television, which those are the best kind of books where it's just like a bingeable page turner. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what books you would recommend to someone in a reading slump to help them get out of it, and I'll see you in another video soon. Goodbye.